Hi everyone, I'm Nat. Welcome to my very first Sims 4 build video. I've been playing Sims for years, actually since the first game came back in the sort of early 2000s, and I finally decided to share my builds with you. So here we are. Today I'm showing you the French Fancy Bistro, a little French bistro that I built in the world of Tortosa. I hope you enjoy it, so let's get into it. So I've picked this lot in Tortosa. I think it was a rental house. It just looks over sort of the cliff edge and onto like the sea. Just some really nice views, really, all the way around this. And it just seemed to be the perfect lot, really. So I bulldozed obviously what was there originally, and of course cleared the lot basically down to sort of a flat, so I can build from. And then I've got these sort of two buildings that I've just gone ahead and placed. I really like the idea of like the main building to be on a little bit of an angle that kind of you walk into it from a square. So I kind of started with that, and then I've also made like this smaller building, which I thought was really cute to have like a patisserie kind of style thing there as well. You could do like coffees and pastries and things like that. And I thought that would be really cute to add into like this kind of courtyard style building that I've done. Also, I was really keen to have like this kind of wrought iron kind of hardware outside, so like the fences and then like lighting, all done with that black kind of tone sort of metals, which I thought would be pretty nice, and then have like really manicured like hedges and potted plants and things like that, just kind of give it to the style. I also really wanted a fountain in the middle, so I kind of played with a couple and then kind of really settled on the traditional kind of style fountains, got like little lily pads in it, and I thought this worked really well. And then yeah, we're just kind of placing in like the stone for the courtyard part, and this kind of a mixed stone sort of pattern, like pebbles almost, and or cobbles. I thought this worked quite nicely for this type of build, really. And then I wasn't too sure about like the size of the building initially, and we'll get onto that in a minute, but I had to size it down slightly just because it was a quite large base on the ground floor. So I just kind of thought I'll crack on and get sort of the outside done and sort of get the outer part of the buildings ready, so that we can kind of play around with that. I wanted really like light, kind of sandy toned, like the outside of the building. So I kind of looked for a couple of different options that we had in build mode, and I just kind of went for this really like light, like kind of sandy tone of stone with like a little bit of brickwork. And I really liked the idea. I saw some pictures of bistros that had like columns and things outside, a bit like Renaissance-y kind of style. Older sort of Parisian buildings that you see have this kind of sort of placement. But using the bistro kit, this is what I mainly used throughout this whole build. I knew obviously I was going to use this build, so I wanted to make sure that I had those kind of doors in place, so I had a bit of a base to work from. Now you can see I'm like working on the roof. Ugh, this roof just was not playing ball. I just couldn't get it quite right. I wanted kind of like sloping kind of roofs that you kind of see with like the grey tile, sort of you see in sort of like Paris, that kind of thing. But I just couldn't get it to like work properly for me. I predominantly work on console. I've got an Xbox One, so I find sometimes the roofs can be a little bit fiddly when you're working on a console versus a PC. And I just kind of went back into the columns from here really, and just kind of looked again for like that sandy kind of tone edge, and luckily these ones you can rise up right to the top, so just copied these all the way around, so you kind of just get a little bit more of like a bit more design, a bit more structure to the building. And obviously copied it over to the little smaller patisserie side as well. There's quite a bit of overlapping, so I've stretched out the roof a little bit more, so it kind of hides this like lip that you get from adding those columns. But yeah, it's kind of taken shape really. Like this is the outside sort of building, and I've got all the colours and everything that kind of felt like worked. So from here, I opened up the bistro kit pack, and I started trying to place a few items, just so I can get a flow, because I want this to be playable, so you can actually use it as a restaurant for Sims in game. So I had to place in a few things. I knew I wanted a bar downstairs, And upstairs I was really keen to have this like open gallery style that had like a wrought iron fencing all the way around. But as you can see, once I deleted the floor, the whole floor just wanted to delete itself. Um, so I find this quite frustrating. But recently I've just found out that there is another way you can do this. Apparently you have to block off the whole area, then delete the flooring, and then go back in, and then it will not delete it from everywhere. So if I do this again, I'll show you guys how you can do it. But yeah, as you can see, I spent quite a bit of time putting the flooring back in again, and then obviously deleting my walls, so then I had to put the walls back in again, which is quite frustrating. But at the time, this was the only way I knew how to do it. But now, like I said, I know a sort of quicker way on how to do it. So yeah, as you can see, I was deleting things and adding walls back in, which is a little bit frustrating. I did end up with like a little bit of a lip from where I kind of got this underneath where I've got the kitchen. So I wanted the kitchen to go there. And then behind the stairs, you have like a toilet. So I just went into the restaurant pack and just picked out the styled items I wanted. I want to go for this like warm, sort of dark wood, kind of like romantic, gothic-y kind of style. And so I used a lot of that kind of dark wood throughout the build, really. And yeah, so just kind of make sure I work predominantly with the bistro pack and just sizing up things, like these awnings, which are very Parisian. I just went for the classic red and white, thought that looked really striking. And then with these tables outside, I thought it'd be really nice to have the like white cloth over the top, just to kind of give it that elegant kind of vibe. But I still use the tables from the bistro kit pack. I think it's a really good pack. I really enjoyed this pack. I once built another bistro, and unfortunately my game crashed and I lost the whole thing because I didn't save properly. So just a warning there. Just remember to keep saving your builds all the way through, because when you lose stuff, they're gone. But yeah, so back inside now. So yeah, using these tables again, like with the cloth, I thought it just looked really nice. I really like the booth stuff seating at the back, and that's part of this pack, and it was really nice. And I started with it, and then actually I play tested it, and actually the booths didn't work very well. So you'll see later on, when we do the reveal, I actually took the booths out and put table and chairs back in. But I still wanted to use the booths, so you'll see that I have incorporated the booths somewhere else in the game. But yeah, as I'm just sort of placing everything from this kit that I knew I definitely wanted to use. So these mirrors are beautiful, and I've been to Paris and France, and this is the type of window mirrors that you do see with like the edging and the sort of etching in the glass. It's really nice. Yeah, like I said, this is such a great pack. I think it's so good. You can do like pretty much a solid build of a restaurant or a bistro with this pack. I just want these little details of having these little small little menus and glasses with a little flower, but I didn't want to like be centered on every table, just kind of to show that it's been used or being used. So people do move things around, don't they, on tables and stuff. So, and I didn't want it on every table. Sometimes these things go missing, so I just want to give that lived in kind of feel and vibe. Yeah, come back to the outside again, just sort I'll place these signs, which also are in the bistro kit. Initially I was kind of thinking like pink kind of colours for the patisserie, but I changed my mind in the end. I went with more of dark colours. And then here you can see I'm just putting in some windows around the front door and getting the right colour palette. The lighter colours just weren't working very well. Really liked the menus outside. And then the windows kind of fill in around. So I used the windows from this kit as well and put all the bottom windows in. But at the top, these windows didn't fit very well. It didn't look great, so I just went and found these windows with little dark shutters on them, and I thought this worked really well. It brought in a lot more light upstairs, and it just looked really cute on the outside. I had to delete a few sort of things in sort of placements that I've put them, just so that windows would work a bit better, and just made them a little bit more symmetrical around sort of the whole build, really. So yeah, just kind of tweaking a few things here and there for the build. As I said, yeah, I made a bistro before, and unfortunately, really sad, it failed. So this is kind of like a very similar one that I built here that looks quite similar to the one I lost. So it's quite nice to actually have this back in game. I can actually play this as well, so it's really cute. Yeah, here I'm just kind of working on the patisserie section. As you can see, I still kept it quite pale, but just kind of went back and changed my mind a little bit later. You'll see in the reveal. And then yeah, just the sort of wallpapers throughout the builds, kind of tweaked a few. The sort of the red was too overbearing, so went for some lighter colours. And then I forgot that there actually is a bistro wallpaper kit, so I just went for quite sort of neutral, with the darker wood I want to keep throughout the build, but then kept like the cream top. And then this just gives me a chance to use a bit more sort of decorations from the kit pack really. And again, just kind of picking out that wrought iron kind of style for the rails, for the stairs, and then just kind of going through and picking sort of some doors and stuff. And luckily the doors had really good swatches on them. So again, all this kind of colour just tied in nicely, and just made sure I got like the colours just matching as I wanted them throughout. Again, just deleting some of those saucers so I can actually put in the lights from the bistro kit just to give it a nice warmer glow. I just find those like saucer lights, they're just so bright, but really handy when you're building because you kind of want to be able to see all these areas that you want to fill in. So I did the sconces on the outside, and then I've got the really lovely drop lights as well, and just kind of placed them in areas that just needed a little bit more light upstairs and downstairs really. But yeah, it's such a nice, warming, cozy light this is, and these sconces are really nice, they're really beautiful. So yeah, just kind of placing those all inside. I was a bit worried putting it in the toilet because I've got a cubicle in there that it would kind of not work particularly well, but like I said, I have play tested this and everything works correctly. So like I said, I had to change some of those balconette seatings and stuff. So yeah, so it's all kind of come together pretty well, to be fair. So yeah, just kind of going back to the bistro kit and just now putting in sort of more decoration. Initially, I just put all the paintings up of the same style all the way through for sort of placement, really. Just knowing that I wanted artwork in those areas, and I just specifically stuck to the artwork swatches that you get in the bistro kit pack, because I just wanted it to be that kind of style, that vibe. And there's so many swatches that you can use with this actually, and they all tie in quite nicely actually. So yeah, pretty happy to use like the whole thing. And then going into the kitchen build. So here I just went for a bit more of an industrial kind of style themed, but with a wooden top, a very sort of industrial kitchen kind of vibes. You've already got like the window, which is like your cooker's area anyway, from the restaurant pack, and then just kind of put in the black furnishings. So I've got like dishwashers in there, fridge. I put the coffee machine in there as well. And yeah, just kind of going through and doing a bit of decoration really, and popping in some plants and hanging plants, which is from the plants kit, which is so lovely. I think it's blooming plants or something like that. I can't remember what the name of the kit is now, but yeah, just kind of put those in. I just knew I want some like really like structured leafy, green leafy plants just to offset like all that red and that darker wood as well, just to kind of lift it. Oh yeah, just a comment about like the flooring, the checkered flooring. Actually, it's quite a popular style to have this in sort of French bistros. So I kind of had that all the way through the ground floor, and then kind of just use woods then upstairs. So just kind of a little point on that as well. But yeah, just kind of tweaking the little plants and things, and just try not to repeat too many in the same areas. I thought two looked nice upstairs before, and then I was like, oh no, change those, move them around. And then we've got these planters, these corporate planters they're called. So not quite the vibe of the building, but actually I thought they worked quite well for this area, which you see the overlap of the kitchen. Um, I've seen some restaurants, they do this kind of like this floating like greenery area, which is kind of cute. So I was, yeah, thinking I could use that, but then I had the middle part to fill in. So as you can see, I'm just kind of going through a few sort of plants and different options and seeing what works and what didn't. I think initially I chose the lemon trees to go in there, but actually after a while I thought this didn't really work particularly, so I did go back and change them, swap them out for something else. So you'll see that in the reveal when we go through. And then yeah, just using some pieces from the romance kit pack, or was it? It wasn't a kit pack actually. It was a stuff pack, wasn't it? The romance kit. But it works well with the trussel, with the roses, and also the stone seating as well is really cute. And then also these lights, these were really good for this kind of build. They worked really nicely. So just popped a few of those in, and then popped a few smaller ones just on the entrance of the garden area of the build. So yeah, it's kind of come together quite cute. And then just kind of putting some more lights outside, more sconces all the way through. So you can kind of get a bit of a glow, so it's not too harsh, and just lighten it those sort of darker corners. And again, everything outside was like on that sort of black kind of iron style. And yeah, just kind of had a bit of a play then with the patisserie, sort of placed in sort of the countertop, and I knew I wanted a little area so you could showcase cakes and things as well. This is from the business pack that we had. Just kind of picking out a little table and chairs. It's quite a small little space with like a cute little table and chair outside as well. In a real big window that you can kind of see, and those kind of patisserie kind of shops as well. And I was just kind of looking for a few things to decorate this place with, but actually I kept it quite minimal in the end. Just popped in a couple of plants, a little bit of decoration, some sconces and things as well, just all the way through. So yeah, you can kind of hire somebody to be in the coffee place, or potentially you can take it on yourself as a business. So yeah, you can kind of do what you want with it. It might be that you want to delete it and you want to start again, but yeah. This is the view from outside. Looks really cute. I think it turned out quite well. So yeah, we can kind of run through the actual build of everything. So here's the reveal. So as you can see, lovely little courtyard outside the bistro, and then we've got our lovely little patisserie with our table outside and our fountain in the courtyard. Then as we kind of come through and we go through the front door, we've got our maitre d' there, and then we've got our waitress as well ready to kind of serve. And then yeah, as we go through, you can see the lovely staircase that goes upstairs with the wrought iron railings. I didn't have this in the build, but I did think, oh, actually it'd be really nice to put a piano in here. So I had enough space there, so piano ended up getting added, and then we added some stereo pieces, as you can see, Sim dancing her heart out right there. Just kind of give you a bit of music as well, a bit of background noise, which is really cute. And then a couple of like wine bottles on the shelves and stuff. And yeah, the bathroom's quite simple as well. So, and it's all, yeah, works, as I said previously. And then, yeah, so we've got a lovely bar, and then the bottles above the bar, which is all part of the kit. And then into the kitchen. So we've got a chef there cutting up some vegetables, it looks like. And then, yeah, and then you can see right outside then to our little courtyard area. And we've got a nice little waitress area there with lovely bottles on the shelves, that decor stuff. And then as we come upstairs, we've got our lovely artwork from our kit pack. And then this is the area that I kind of changed the greenery, just put some different plants in there that worked a little bit better. And then, yeah, you can see here I took the booths out because, as I said, I play tested them and they didn't really work all that well. So I moved them back to being sort of chairs and tables. And then, yeah, this is all the way around the top level for you. And the other little waitress area with a mirror attached. And then, yeah, I added the extra booth seating in the corner here, and just a little seating area where Sims can kind of just sit and chat and chill. But it was a shame that it didn't work particularly as I wanted to, but I just still wanted to keep them in the build, so that's what I did. And then as we walk around sort of the gallery style top floor, which is really cute, and we've got more speakers up here for music as well, more plants and artwork, and just these little sort of accents on the table with the little glasses and menus. And yeah, you can see all the windows out, just go out to the sea. And then when you look down from the opening from the gallery, you can see downstairs, which is great. And then coming out to the courtyard, and it looks over, we've got a lovely like fountain, our stone seating, and then we've got our beautiful view of Tortosa, which is the village and the little seaside that they've got there. And then, yeah, coming out, you can see these little manicured potted plants as well. And I also put a little chess table in as well. This wasn't in the speed build, but I added it in. I thought it was a really nice little touch for this kind of Parisian French style lot that you can use. And then, yeah, as I said, I changed like everything to the dark green. Sorry about all the flags and the extra pieces everywhere. It was New Year's Eve when I did this, and I just couldn't seem to get the Sims to take the sort of decorations down. But I don't know. I think it kind of adds to the build. It's kind of cute actually. But feel free, if you download it and you're going to change and tweak things, go ahead and take it down if you can. But yeah, my game was glitching slightly, so it decided it wanted to keep all the decor of the New Year's Eve up, even though it wasn't New Year's Eve anymore. But it kind of worked quite nicely. The kind of yellow kind of lifts like all the green and the reds and the darker woods. And then, yeah, on the side, I've got the sign there for the patisserie as well. So just ran out of room on the front, so having it on the side worked quite nicely. And there we go. So that's our lovely courtyard that leads into our bistro and patisserie. So I hope you really enjoyed the build. I'm planning my next build coming up soon. Plan to post it in a week or so. So I hope you follow and you look out for that new build. Thanks, bye.